Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Sri Sri Maharaj Saranaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Gaura Premananda ki. So welcome to our festival. Today we are celebrating 3 events. Actually, they are transcendental events. As we already heard, one is Lord Rama's return to Ayodhya, and then the baby Lord Krishna being bound by his mother Yasoda, and then worship Govardhan and Diwali. And in the beginning, I would like to speak something about Sitaram. And this story, it is like reverse. Lord Rama is returning Ayodhya.
On myös venäjänkielinen käännös täällä näin mahdollista saada. Sekä suomen että venäjänkielinen, jos tarvii joku. Sorry.
So, reverse story. Lord Rama is returning to Ayodhya, but this is the end. It's very happy even. Then we can read from Bhagavatam a little bit how he is coming there. Please. The Bhagavatam says, when Lord Ramachandra returned to his capital, Ayodhya, he was greeted on the road by the princely order who showered his body with beautiful fragrant flowers, while great personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods glorified the activities of the Lord in great jubilation. The citizens of Ayodhya, upon seeing their king return after a long absence, offered him flower garlands, waved their upper clothes, and danced in great jubilation. Thereafter, having been welcomed by his brother Bharata, Lord Ramachandra entered the city of Ayodhya in the midst of a festival. When he entered the palace, he offered obeisances to all the mothers, including Kaikeyi and other wives of Maharaj Dasaratha, and especially his own mother Kaushalya. He also offered obeisances to the spiritual preceptors such as Vasishtha. Friends of his own age and younger friends worshipped him, and he returned their respectful obeisances with Lakshmana and Mother Sita. In this way, they all entered the palace. So I don't know how familiar you are with the Ramayana, where the story of Lord Rama is told. But shortly, Lord Rama was the crown prince of Ayodhya, and he was banished to the forest by the palace policy. And he took his wife Sita and his brother with him. So they lived there in the forest, actually very happily, in a very simple way, like hermits. But then the king Lanka, Ravana, in lusting after Sita, the wife of Rama, kidnapped her and carried her to his own capital city, Lanka. And Ramachandra then he made alliance with the monkeys in the forest. Which kind of monkeys they were? They were not ordinary monkeys. It is in Ramayana explained that they have the qualities of the demigods, and then the gods of heaven. And he formed his army of monkeys, and with this army of monkeys they marched to Lanka to fight Ravana. And they crossed the ocean India between the Lanka and the mainland. And okay, thank you. And then they marched to the island of Lanka and challenged Ravana. And furious battle took place there between the Ravana's Rakshasa army, Rakshasa means maybe between these Rakshasas and the army of monkeys. And then finally, Ravana, he lost all his power, all his best military leaders, his army, his ministers, they all died in the battle. And then he had to go himself to the battlefield. And then he was slain by Rama. Now Mother Sita was released and they returned to Ayodhya. And the citizens of Ayodhya, they had been very sorrowful because of the absence of Rama and Sita. They were like almost like dead there because Sita Ram, they were their object of love and their life and soul. And when Ramachandra then finally returned, that was great jubilation as read from these verses. And we can imagine that they also offered these lambs to Sitaram, these lambs that we are today offering to Yasoda and Radha on the altar. But that is even a different story. Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is saying himself that the wielders weapons are Ram. So there is a connection between Mahabharata and Ramayana. Actually, Lord Rama is the incarnation of Vishnu. And Krishna is also the incarnation of Vishnu. But we call our Vaishnavas, we have confidence and knowledge that Krishna actually is the origin Lord who comes through this channel which the avatars usually come to this world. And then after returning to Lanka, from Lanka to Ayodhya, Lord Rama then sat again on the throne of Ayodhya and was the king of Ayodhya, and it is said also that Ayodhya was the capital of the whole world. So those who know Ramayana, they also know that this is not so happy story always. The end is a little sad because there is a separation of Ram and Sita. But this point, when they are returning, is still happy story. We don't go further now because this event means that we celebrate when Lord Rama was returning to Ayodhya and giving great joy to all the inhabitants of Ayodhya. So then the next subject matter is Mother Yasoda. She is finding Lord Krishna who is the forever baby. And we again read a little bit from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto.
10.
Ten, 9, 5. Mother Yasoda then embraced Krishna, allowed him to sit down on her lap, and began to look upon the face of the Lord with great love and affection. Because of her intense affection, milk was flowing from her breast. But when she saw that the milk pan on the oven was boiling over, she immediately left her son to take care of the overflowing milk, although the child was not yet fully satisfied with drinking the milk at his mother's breast. And purport by the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. Everything in the household affairs of Mother Yasoda was meant for Krishna. Although Krishna was drinking the breast milk of Mother Yasoda, when she saw that the milk pan in the kitchen was overflowing, she had to take care of it immediately, and thus she left her son, who then became very angry, not having been fully satisfied with drinking the milk of her breast. Sometimes one must take care of more than one item of important business for the same purpose. Therefore, Mother Yasoda was not unjust when she left her son to take care of the overflowing milk. On the platform of love and affection, it is the duty of the devotee to do one thing first and other things later. The proper intuition by which to do this is given by Krishna. Tesam sadata yuktanam vasatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam janamam upayanti te Bhagavad Gita 10:10. In Krishna consciousness, everything is dynamic. Krishna guides the devotee in what to do first and what to do next on the platform of absolute truth. So Krishna is a baby. She took birth in prison cell of Kansa. Then secretly at night he was transferred to Koku and exchanged with the female baby of Mother Yasoda. And the female baby was taken to prison cell, and this male baby, Krishna, was put on the lap of Mother Yasoda. So in the morning, Mother Yasoda thought that she has given birth to a male baby. And then Krishna was growing up there in this covered village, Koku. And Mother Yasoda was feeding her son with her breast milk. And in this event, Mother Yasoda is cooking milk there in the kitchen when Krishna, he was sleeping in his room alone, and then he became hungry, and he went out to search for Mother. And he found Mother Yasoda there in the kitchen cooking their milk. So Mother Yasoda gave her breast milk to Krishna, but at the same time the milk in the pot started to overflow. So what to do in this situation? She put Krishna on the ground, and then she ran to the milk pot to save the milk. Meanwhile, the small Krishna, he became angry because he was not yet fully satisfied with the milk. So he was surprised to see such feelings and emotions in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we understand, we have learned that in the spiritual world there are also emotions. But these emotions, they are very satisfying, giving great happiness and bliss. So Krishna became angry, and in his angry mood, he broke one buttermilk. Then he ran away and went to the storeroom of Mother Yasoda, where he broke more these buttermilk pots and started to eat this buttermilk. This buttermilk is like some say that it's yogurt, but actually it's not exactly that same. The bacteria is different. It's something like we have this piimä in Finland. Between piimä and yogurt, something like that. So he started to eat this buttermilk, and there were also monkeys, and he started to feed these monkeys. And that was very fun to Krishna. He was sitting there on one pot eating this buttermilk and feeding the monkeys. Then suddenly he saw that the monkeys, they became scared and they started to run away. So he was seeing then that Mother Yasoda is coming. So he escaped. He started to run away, to hide. And Mother Yasoda was running after him with the stick in her hand. And this event is described by Queen Kunti in his prayers. And we read one prayer here, Srimad Bhagavatam 1:8-31. 1:8-31. Kopiyada te thai kritam nasidama tavad yate dasar sukalilan shana sampramaksam Paktram Niniya Paya Pavanaya Sitasya Sama Vimohayati Pir Abhiyat Vipeti. My dear Krishna, Yasoda took up a rope to bind you when you committed an offense, and your perturbed eyes overflowed with tears, which washed the mascara from your eyes. And you were afraid, though fear personified is afraid of you. This sight is bewildering to me. Therefore, by Srila Prabhupada. Here is another explanation of the bewilderment created by the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is the Supreme in all circumstances, as already explained. Here is a specific example of the Lord's being the Supreme and at the same time waiting in the presence of his pure devotee. The Lord's pure devotee renders service unto the Lord out of unalloyed love only, and while discharging such devotional service, the pure devotee forgets the position of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord also accepts the loving service of his devotees more religiously when the service is rendered spontaneously out of pure affection without anything of reverential admiration. Generally, the Lord is worshipped by the devotees in a reverential attitude, but the Lord is meticulously pleased when the devotee, out of pure affection and love, considers the Lord to be less important than himself. The Lord's pastimes in the original abode of Goloka Vrindavan are exchanged in that spirit. The friends of Krishna consider him one of them. They do not consider him to be of reverential importance. The parents of the Lord, who are all pure devotees, consider him a child only. The Lord accepts the chastisements of the parents more cheerfully than the prayers of the Vedic hymns. Similarly, he accepts the reproaches of his fiancés more palatably than the Vedic hymns. The Lord Krishna was present in this material world to manifest his eternal pastimes and the transcendental realm, and Kolkata Vrindavan as an attraction for the people in general. He displayed a unique picture of subordination before his foster mother Yashoda. The Lord, in his natural, childish, playful activities, used to spoil the stock butter of Mother Yashoda by breaking the pots and distributing the contents to his friends and playmates, including the celebrated monkeys and Vrindavan, who took advantage of the Lord's munificence. Mother Yashoda saw this, and out of her pure love, she wanted to make a show of punishment for her transcendental child. She took a rope and threatened Lord that she would tie him up as is generally done in the ordinary household. Seeing the rope in his hands, Mother Yashoda, the Lord bowed down his head and began to weep just like a child, and tears rolled down his cheeks, washing off the black ointment smeared about his beautiful eyes. This picture of the Lord is adored by Kundalini because he is conscious of the Lord's supreme position. He is feared often by fear personified, yet he is afraid of his mother, who wanted to punish him just in an ordinary manner. Kundi was conscious of the exalted position of Krishna, whereas Yashoda was not. Therefore, Yashoda's position was more exalted than Kundi's. Mother Yashoda loved the Lord as her child, and the Lord made her forget altogether that her child was the Lord himself. If Mother Yashoda had been conscious of the exalted position of the Lord, she would certainly have hesitated to punish the Lord. But she was made to forget this situation because the Lord wanted to make a complete gesture of childishness before the affectionate Yashoda. This exchange of love between the mother and the son was performed in a natural way, and Kunti, remembering the scene, was bewildered, and she could do nothing but praise the transcendental maternal love. Indirectly, Mother Yashoda is praised for her unique position of love, for she could control even the all-powerful Lord as her beloved child. So from this purport we understand that Mother Yashoda, she never thought that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And by her unalloyed love, she could treat Krishna like her ordinary son. In this purport it was said that fear personified of the fear fears Krishna. So who is that personified of fear? It is death in our hearts, who is causing fear in everyone's heart. We don't know what is dead. We don't know when he is coming, but he is coming. That we know also. But he fears Krishna. But Krishna, he fears his mother, Yashoda. How can we understand this? So, Queen Kunti, she is trying to understand this and explain it in her prayers. So, Krishna takes position as an ordinary child in the hands of his pure devotees, who can control him by their pure love. So Krishna, he is the controller of all controllers, but he is controlled by his pure devotees, by their unalloyed pure love. And this we also see in this pastime. So Mother Yasoda was running after Krishna, and it took some time before she could catch him. And then she put away her stick because she saw that Krishna was afraid and started to cry. But punish Krishna or to keep him peacefully in one place, she wanted to bind him with a rope. There was a wooden mortar, and she took a rope and tried to bind his transcendental son. But it was not possible, although the rope was originally long enough. But when she tried to use it for binding Krishna, it was lacking the distance of 2 fingers. So she got another rope and she tied them together, and with this new rope she again tried to bind Krishna. But amazingly, it was again 2 fingers too short. So Mother Yasoda definitely she was very much surprised about this phenomenon. But they brought her more ropes and tied again, and again it was too short, and this continued for a long, long time. And then Mother Yasoda, he worked very hard to find her son, and ultimately she was quite exhausted. And then finally, Krishna allowed him to bind him to this wooden mortar. There are many commentaries about this, why it then finally happened and how it happened. We don't go now in details, but finally Krishna allowed that to happen. And he was bound to that wooden mortar, and his covered boyfriends at the same age, they came to see him there and to chat with him. But Krishna couldn't go anywhere. And Mother Yasoda, he left the place, he went to do his household activities. And what happened then? Then in one point Krishna, he wanted to move a little bit. And he started to crawl and drag this heavy wooden mortar behind him. And there was 2 trees, they are called Arjuna, Tanavatsu. And he crawled in between these trees, and this mortar followed. And Krishna was pulling and pulling, and then these trees, they fell down with a great crash. This was, of course, very amazing also. And then from these trees appeared 2 celestial beings who started to offer prayers to Krishna. And then they left the place and returned to their celestial abode. And the story of this is that these celestial beings, they were the sons of Kuvera, and they were cursed by Narada Muni because they behaved in a way that was not proper to such dwellers of heaven. And then they took birth on this planet Earth as trees, and they were standing there as trees in the court Nanda Maharaj, the foster father of Krishna. And this curse, it had also a blessing that when Krishna comes and performs his pastimes there, he will deliver you. So if we often to great personalities and they curse us, then we can bow down before them and ask forgiveness. And then they say that, sorry, I cannot take away this curse. It is given, it's given. But I can change it a little bit so that ultimately it will be your blessing if they are pleased with us. Anyway, we are not offering anyone. And if we offend devotees, they usually don't curse us. Especially if we apologize. So don't worry, you don't have to stand as a tree somewhere. So, and then of course these adults, the Gokula, they were running there because they heard this great crash. And they were very much surprised. They see that small Krishna tied to this water and these fallen trees. And Nanda Maharaj immediately released Krishna and took him to his lap. And then they were wondering what happened there. And the governor boys, these Krishna's friends, they were telling them what happened, and they told him also with these celestial beings that appeared from these trees. And these inhabitants, Gokul, they couldn't believe these boys. They were thinking, no, how is it possible? And then later on, Krishna also finally returned to Mother Yasoda. And this story also, it had an end. So this event, pastime, we are celebrating by offering these lamps to our deities on the altar, and there is also this small deity, Mother Yasoda, binding Lord Krishna. So we offer this lamp also to them. It is said in Vishnu Purana that during the month of Kartik, one should offer a lamp to Vishnu. It is auspicious, and therefore we are doing that. Not only that, this is the only reason, we also, because we are devotees, we have to offer our love to Krishna, and this is one way to do it. We offer this lamp. And the last program today, it is the worship by Govardhan hymn. And it actually it happened on this day. This is one of the most famous, not the most famous, but one of the most famous pastimes of Lord Krishna. And all devotees love very much to hear about this pastime. And we have read many times this pastime from Bhagavatam and Prabhupada's Krishna book. Still, it is always new and very, very interesting, and giving us always newer and newer spiritual satisfaction to read this pastime. So it once happened in Vrindavan, cowherd men, they were preparing a sacrifice. And Lord Krishna, that time, now he's not baby anymore, he's 7 years old. And we understand that this binding Lord Krishna and lifting Govardhan hill, although they happened almost on the same day, there is still 7 years in between. So Krishna went to see them, and he was curious. He's asking, what kind of sacrifice you are performing, preparing? What is the object of the sacrifice? Means who we are worshipping by this sacrifice, and what is the result? What do we get if we do this sacrifice? Like in our process, this devotional service, we have this sadhya. It is the goal And sadhana, it is the process. So we do certain things and we have some goal. So in sacrifices also they have the same thing. And Krishna was asking that. And Nanda Maharaj and Govardhan, they thought that their young boy, he doesn't understand these intricacies of the sacrifices that we have explained. But Krishna was insisting, he was asking again and again that what is this sacrifice and what are you doing? And then they finally explained him that this is Indra Yagya. Yagya means sacrifice. And we worship Indra because he's the Lord and Master of the rains. And we are the covered men. And we are dependent on the rain. Because what do the cows eat? Grass. And how does the grass grow? By the rain. It is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. There's all living beings, they subsist on food grains. Food grains are produced from the rains. The rains are produced by the performance of sacrifice. So sacrifice is needed to produce rain, and by rain, food grains are growing. Now there are drought in some parts of the world, like in Eastern Africa. Nothing grows, nothing. And then 70 million people are starving. What to do? They are rain. Prabhupada instructed that in such a case you can have sacrifice at this age. And this is Sankirtan Yagya, means that chanting the names of Krishna. If you do that, then there will be rain. So that people don't know that, and they don't have faith in that, unfortunately. So they explained then that we are dependent on rains and dependent on Indra, and this is traditional sacrifice, therefore we are doing that. And then Krishna, he was explaining that no, it is not like that. We are not dependent on Indra. And he explained some weird philosophy that we just do our duties and everything comes automatically. And then they were arguing the government with Krishna, how is it? And then Krishna finally explained that actually we are dependent on Govardhan Hill, because Govardhan Hill is supplying us to nice grass, everything we need. And we should worship Govardhan Hill. And then the government, they were thinking, and they try to do compromise. Humans doing compromise when there are different opinions, and we should decide something. And then, okay, we do compromise. And they said that Krishna, first we worship Indra with this paraphernalia, and then we worship Govardhan Hill. Is that good? That's good compromise. Everybody would be satisfied. No, Krishna was not satisfied. He said, no, we just worship Govardhan Hill with this paraphernalia. Then, because it is explained in Bhagavatam, because Krishna is very sweet, he's speaking very sweetly. And then they relented. They said, okay, he worship Govardhan Hill. Oh. Then they took all these ingredients for worship and asked Krishna further instructions, how should we worship Govardhan Hill? And he explained that we are cooking many kinds of food, and then we go to Govardhan Hill, we offer this food to him, and then we circumambulate to him with all our family members and cows and calves, and sing all kinds of songs glorifying Govardhan Hill. And then when Govardhan he is accepting our offering, then we, after that, we take a feast. And then we feed everybody, all, first the brahmanas, then others, all, even the lower animals like dogs. And this is the spirit of the Annakuta ceremony. Now this Vesipur Govardhan is known as Annakuta ceremony, where villagers they go to a feast, then offer it to Govardhan Hill, and they distribute this prasada, the mercy of the Krishna, to everybody, without any consideration and caste and creed and body. And this Annakuta ceremony was established by Hanuman Ananda Prabhu, the great devotee of Krishna, sometimes in 15th century. So the government men and women they did like that, they cooking nice food and then offering it to Krishna, and then Sankaman collected to Govardhan Hill singing and dancing while doing that. And then Govardhan Hill, he was accepting all this food. There are many details about this pastime in books like Gopala Sambu and Ananda Vrindavan Sambu and Harivansa. So we can read about these details, how it happened. And then Govardhan Hill, he ate everything and nothing was left. Then he was asking that still give him more. Anil, yes, Anil. And there was nothing to give. So they gave him some tulasi leaves and he was satisfied. So we also, when you offer Krishna food here, you put the tulasi leaf on the top of the offering so that Krishna would accept this offering, because he does not want to accept anything which is without the tulasi leaf. But this is another story why it is so. And then after that celebration, they took the feast and they were very happy. And what happened on the heavenly planets at that time? Indra was there, he was expecting to get this offering, this sacrifice, but nothing came. And his ministers, they informed him that actually Indra, they are using this paraphernalia to worship Govardhan Hill. And when Indra heard this, it hurt his false ego so much. He was thinking that, wow, they are worshipping the hill instead of me. Now we offer our respects to Lord Indra. He's a great personality. We don't want to criticize him or offend him in any way. But he is giving example to us how we should not behave. So he was happy and he became very angry. He wanted to punish these inhabitants of Vrindavan. And he called these clouds, devastation, these great clouds who can pour torrents of rains to the earth. And he ordered them to inundate the village of Vrindavan with water. And he also came there with riding on his elephant carrier, Ayavata. So they all went to Vrindavan and it started to rain there heavily. And inhabitants of Vrindavan, they were very much disturbed by this heavy rain and wind. And then they approached Krishna, because after all, the devotees of Krishna, and the devotees of Krishna, they always take shelter from Krishna. They went to see Krishna and asked protection from him, not only for themselves but for the cows and calves also. And then Krishna was wondering that this must be the activities of Indra, because he became angry because he did not perform this Indra Yakya. That's why this was Krishna's intention, to perform this pastime. So he said to his inhabitants that, don't worry, I will lift up this great mountain, Govardhan, and you can all come under its shelter. So then Krishna went to Govardhan hill and lifted it up. So now we can wonder how he lifted it up. There were no handles to lift it up or anything. But it is said in Bhagavatam that in a similar way than a child lifts up the mushroom, Krishna lifted up that hill. And okay, we accept that. And the inhabitants Govardhan, they then came under this hill. And they all gathered there under the shelter of this hill. And Krishna was there standing in the center and holding the hill with his left hand. It is even said that in some places that with his left pinky he was holding the hill. And these covered men and women, they were wondering there how it is possible and how Krishna can hold this massive hill. But they were not worried because Krishna was assuring them that don't worry, it does not fall off from my hand. And it is explained in Bhagavatam that it lasted 7 days and nights. And all the time Krishna was holding this hill up. And during that time, these inhabitants, they did not feel any thirst, hunger, or they were not tired or exhausted. And they had constant darshan and Krishna in front of them. Usually the inhabitants of Vrindava village, they were very sorry when Krishna in the morning he left for forest to herd his cows and calves, and they couldn't see him anymore. They had to wait all day there up to evening when Krishna returns. So we can understand they were very affectionate to Krishna, and they had great love for Krishna. But now, under this hill, 7 days, they could look at Krishna constantly. There were many kinds of persons there, devotees under the hill. There were those who had these shantaras with Krishna. So it means that they love Krishna, but they don't render any service yet. They love to see him, his activities. There were those who were in dasyaras. That means they were servants of Krishna. Those who rendered service to Krishna in some way or other. And then there were those who were in Sakhyaras, those who are friends with Krishna. They feel Krishna is equal with them. There is no own reverence. He is our friend. And then those who have parental affection for Krishna, they see Krishna as their child. That means that Krishna is their subordinate, like Yasodhana. And then there were those who had conjugal relationship with Krishna. They were Krishna's mothers. They were these young pilgrims of Vrindavan who at night secretly want to dance with Krishna and embrace him. So they all saw Krishna according to their own particular class. And outside the hill, what happened there is also very interesting. Indra was bouncing the hill with his thunderbolts, and the rain they were showering torrential rains to bring against the hill. But the hill did not shake, and not water came under the hill, nor these thunderbolts could enter the either. It was very peaceful there under the hill. And Indra, he was 7 days trying to destroy this hill. But as we know, Indra, although he is a great king of the heaven, of the paradise, very powerful, still he is a ordinary living being who has awarded these powers by his pious activities. But as ordinary human being, after some time, we become exhausted. So everybody knows that. We work for some time, then we have to take a rest. This is not real body. Different between material body and spiritual body. In a spiritual world, there is no such a thing as becoming exhausted or need a rest. Because spiritual body is self-sufficient. There are no muscles, but there is power. This is spiritual power. So Indra became exhausted, and he lost his hope. He lost his power and hope. And when we lose our hope, then everything is lost. In Krishna consciousness, sometimes we almost lose our hope because this meditation sometimes is so difficult. Mind is so restless, always deviating from the object of the meditation. And the devotee becomes almost hopeless. But Krishna is encouraging in Bhagavad Gita that it is possible to control the mind by suitable practice and by detachment. But everything takes time. Everything takes its own time. Nothing happens in one night. So one has to be determined and have this faith that ultimately I reach the goal of my sadhana. The day will come. So Indra lost his hope and he left with rain clouds to heavenly planets. At the same time, the sun was shining in Vrindavan, and these covered men and women and cows and calves, they could return home. And then Krishna very carefully put the hill back on the exactly same spot than it was before. Now you can go to Vrindavan and go to Govardhan and do this circumambulation of the Govardhan hill. Many of you have done this. It's very auspicious and it's very purifying to our heart. But it's not easy. It takes 5 hours with bare feet. If you want to do it when you are still young. When you are old, then it's so difficult. So then Indra, in the heavenly planets, he was telling to his wife, good wife, what happened. And wives usually they give good advices to their husbands. So she was saying that you didn't do well. That was very bad. Now you have to find out to apologize. So then Indra went to see his spiritual master, Brihaspati, and Brihaspati said the same. But he's a spiritual master, he used different words. He said, "You fool, what you have done." And then he also gave a remedy to Indra. Then Indra got these instructions and he called Surati cow because Krishna likes cows, and if he approaches Krishna with the cow, then Krishna is not so hungry than he would be if he would see only Indra. And so that happened. He went there, and when he saw that Krishna's roam there around Govardhan, he approached him, and the cow was in front. And cow then he gave Abhiseka to Krishna by her milk, and Indra gave Abhiseka to Krishna with the water from the trunk of Airavata elephant. And then Krishna was satisfied, and then Indra bowed down before him and apologized what he had done. And what Krishna said to Indra, he instructed Indra that you should not forget your position. Remember who you are. I'm your Supreme Lord. Don't forget that. After all, Indra is a very important person in this universe, and he has an important relationship with Krishna. But Krishna appears in this universe only once in a day of Brahma. And the day of Brahma is a long time. You cannot even imagine. Something 4 billion, 300 million or so years. So once Krishna is coming, and before that, all these demigods, like Indra, Brahma, and so on, they are in supreme position. And sometimes they have troubles with demons in this universe. They go to see Vishnu in the Indian Ocean and ask help. And then Vishnu comes to help. And then last time when they had troubles, they went again to Indian Ocean and asked Vishnu to help them with these demons who were a burden on the Mother Earth. And then he said that he will appear, and he appeared as Krishna, who was the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he came through the same channel as the all incarnations are coming. And then he took his birth on this earth, and these great demigods, they were not sure, is this the Supreme Lord, because they had never seen Krishna before. And therefore, they were mistaking him to be an ordinary big person. And then Krishna, he has to teach them. First he told about Brahma. There is such a story in Bhagavatam that Lord Brahma, he is stealing the cows and calves of Krishna and hiding them. And wanted to see what Krishna is doing now. So Krishna humiliates Brahma and teaches him that what he is, what Krishna is, how he is Brahma's master. And now he is teaching Indra. Indra got to listen. Alright, you are my master, I remember this. But on the heavenly planets, because there is such an opulence, such a happy, materially happy life, and they have such a power. Sometimes it is very dangerous because then they forget all these good things and they again think that they are the supreme controllers and like that. Therefore, this earth planet is very good for self-realization, to develop love for Krishna. So, in this way, we will celebrate this Govardhan Puja today. We have a nice Govardhan hill made here, and we do a puja for that hill, and then we circumambulate this hill and sing the glories of Krishna. Just like the inhabitants of Vrindavan did 5,000 years ago.
Haribol.
So thank you for your attention. I hope that you have a very nice evening here with all these celebrities. I think we stop here because we have many programs after this. Yes, and here. Thank you, Arista.
Sri Govardhan Putra Maha Mahotsava ki jai. His Grace Hanuman Ananda Prabhu ki jai. Kiitos paljon Hanuman Ananda Prabhu erittäin valaisevasta luennosta. Thank you very much Hanuman Ananda Prabhu for your very enlightening lecture. Meillä ohjelma tässä jatkuu.
Haluan sanoa, että yrittäjien erityisvieraan suurlähettiläs on saapunut olemaan paikalla, joten annamme toivotamme hyvin tervetulleeksi ja annamme hänen puheenvuoroja. Jos pikkusen saadaan tuohon